Welcome to episode 39 of the Rise Fitness and Nutrition Podcast. I am your favorite host, Carlo. Today I'm gonna talk about the cost of reaching a super shredded six-pack. How far are you willing to go? If you like this podcast, please share it with your family and friends and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That will help me so much. Happy listening! Here we are. It's that time of the day when you took a shower and you're standing naked in front of the mirror. And I don't say that you don't do it because I don't believe you. Everybody does it. We all do it. I do it, you do it, I am 100% sure. And it's normal because we are all curious about our body. We all want to check what's going on with our body. If you are on a diet, you want to be sure that your diet is working, so you're checking every corner to see if you lost the fat that you are carefully trying to lose. And that's absolutely normal. Now, it's very trendy, and it's a huge fitness thing to see a six-pack and wanting a six-pack on your own body. Now, while there's nothing bad about desiring a six-pack, there are actually a few things that you should take into consideration when aiming towards getting it. But getting it for real, like a real shredded 6 or more pack on your abdomen. Of course, I'm not here to discourage anybody to go on the road to get it, but I would just like to help you understanding that there are some trade-offs and some things you might want to consider before actually diving in. Now, once and for all, let me put a nail on the coffin of the good old thing that says abs are made in the kitchen. No, it's not true. Abs, as every other muscle, are built in a gym, are built with strength training, are built with working out. And then, yes, the kitchen plays a key role, but the abs are not made in the kitchen. The kitchen helps you carving the abs out. So if you have a strong muscle pack already, by having the right nutrition, you can carve it out. That means that you're going to remove, layer by layer, the fat on your body until the fat on your belly also goes away, and then your six-pack will pop out with time. It's not like you wake up in the morning and boom, there it is. Marble, chocolate, super strong and perfectly fit abs. So that said, one thing I want you to have very clear in mind are your expectations in terms of time and results. If you're considering that you might get your so much dreaded six-pack in a month or two, my question to you is, and you had to be honest, are you already that close to it that you can just trim a little bit more for an extra few weeks and you'll be there? Because most of us have a normal life and a normal physique, and that means that we are not necessarily that close. We have some abs showing from time to time, but we might not be necessarily that close that just another few weeks and then you're there. And I'm saying this because I don't want you to jump in and then after 4 weeks decide that it's not working, then it's not worth it, that you just can't have six packs because my genetics, which is again mostly probably BS. I just wanted to be sure that you start your journey with having the right timing and the right expectations. And that's the first step. Now the second step is that you might want to consider the cost of getting that lean that your six-pack is showing. And by cost, I do not necessarily mean money-wise. Of course, if you need to invest in a gym, invest on better nutrition, invest on a coach, there's also cost in terms of money. But let's talk about the cost in terms of your effort and the psychological cost of working to get a really shredded six-pack popping out. And let's forget immediately that some individuals have a little bit of better genetics. So for some people, in some cases, it's much easier to have a certain type of physique, even if they are not that consistent with training or that good with diet. But these are very rare cases. Most of the time, when you see a six-pack on somebody, there was a huge effort behind it. Now, what do I mean by cost? Let's imagine that you have a, slightly high body fat percentage. So you work out, but you have muscles, but they're not showing because you have belly fat. Now, body fat distribution and needs in men and women are different, and therefore, when you have a look at percentage number per se, you always have to take into consideration, and for men and women it's quite different. If you are a man and have around 12 to 15% body fat, you are in I would say in okay shape. You have some muscle showing. You might not be very shredded, but you do have a build. Whereas in a woman, when you're around 10 to 11%, for example, you are super shredded. You are basically extra lean. On the other hand, for a man to be insanely shredded, you have to go down to 3 to 4%. Just to give you a rough comparison. But if you're curious, go ahead and Google body fat percentage difference men and women and have a look at the images. That will help you understand. So this percentage difference is the one thing that you want to have in mind. Now, if you have a high body fat percentage and you want to get really low, say you almost want to reach for a man single digit and for a woman you want to be around 10%, now we're talking about serious cost, because the leaner you get, the harder it becomes to lose the extra few pounds or few kilos or few grams of fat in the first place, because your body will adapt. So the leaner you are, the less calories you will consume, and the more your body will try to defend the fact that you are losing weight. So it will try to defend the weight loss, because your body doesn't know that you have a physique goal. So your body only perceives the fact that you are kind of, say, depriving it of nutrients, and it will go in this kind of emergency state. So try to slow down the metabolism, try to preserve energy as much as possible. So that's one thing. But then secondly, as I said, it will be harder and harder to lose the extra few grams or kilos or pounds, whatever you want to call it, because of the physiological reasons, and also becomes more and more mentally hard, because the restrictions that you have to go through to lose consistently kilos of fat and trim down your body fat percentage are strict. So we already talked in one of the previous episodes about the pillars of health, but those pillars of health that can also be translated into the pillars of fat loss are strength training, nutrition, and rest, and of course repeat. But there are 3 plus 1: strength training, nutrition, and rest. So if you take those towards, say, regular fat loss without wanting to go single digit for men or around 10% for women, those are not that strict. Yeah, those can be a little bit strict at the beginning, but once you get used to the new routine, they are not that strict. There's a lot of flexibility inside, because you're not going to go towards a very low body fat percentage, because it's very hard. Now, if you want to apply that to reach a very shredded and visible and very defined six-pack, now you have to take those pillars and make them extremely strict. And by extremely strict, I mean that you have to be 100% consistent with your nutrition for a very long time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it takes for you to go from your current body fat percentage to the one that you're aiming for first. Secondly, you have to be very consistent with your training, and it means strength training and also cardio sessions, because you want to try to maximize the amount of calories that you use throughout the day while staying in a calorie deficit with the right macronutrients every single day. And you have to rest. But it doesn't mean that you have to rest like 6 or 7 hours per night and you'll be done. No. The leaner you become, the more you will have to sleep, because the more your body will need to recover in the first place, and the more your body needs to sleep to be able to perform the transformation that you're trying to aim. So it doesn't mean that you can sleep by 7 hours and be done with it, but sometimes you will have to sleep like 8 hours, 9 hours, because you will be fatigued, you'll be tired. And not only that, you will also have to sacrifice your social life, because if you want to be 100% consistent to reach your result in the most efficient time possible, well, maybe that dinner with your friends might not be ideal. Well, maybe going out for a drink might not be actually the best solution because of the extra calories and the stuff that the drinks might come up with. Or maybe the vacation that you are planning to go to can wait a little longer. So all of those things are basically in the cost of getting lean, but very lean, like seriously extremely lean, like bodybuilding competition level lean. Now my question to you is, are you really willing to go through this kind of ordeal to reach something so temporary as a shredded six-pack? Now I know that some people do that to compete. Now when you have a bodybuilding competition, you have a goal and there is a restricted period of time to reach it. But after the competition, it's very common to hear of bodybuilders that develop seriously bad relationship with food and nutrition, to the point that they get anxiety when they have to eat and they cannot go back to having a regular normal diet, let's say having a pizza sometimes over the weekend, having a few drinks with friends, enjoying a dinner out with family or the loved ones. So they cannot do that because of the anxiety that eating will give them, because if they eat a little bit more, they will become immediately fat and they will ruin all their progress. And I know that this sounds like ridiculous. Come on, really, you go out once, it's not going to change your life. But believe me, it's very common to develop this kind of twisted relationship with eating and nutrition, to the point that you feel trapped without being actually trapped. It's everything in your mind. Now, this is the extreme case, but getting very lean, developing a shredded six-pack has big disadvantages. And now you see this on Instagram all the time, but let me tell you something more about Instagram. First of all, and you already know, what you see on Instagram is just a fraction of people's life. First. Secondly, pictures are staged. There's the right lighting, the right type of focus on the camera, the right type of angle, the right type of flex in the athletes and in the models you see. And also, most of the time when you see like fitness models, before the day of the shooting, they go through a crazy strict diet. Sometimes it's just basically chicken and broccoli and chicken for weeks, for breakfast, lunch and dinner, because they want to lose as much fat as they can. And that is not sustainable. That is not sustainable in the long term. It will drive you crazy. And they don't talk about this because it doesn't look cool, but that's the reality of it. Now, so the next time you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you really are desiring to have a very shredded six-pack, ask yourself this question. The moment you reach it, how would you feel? What will be the advantage, or what will be the feeling that you have if you reach that? Why would you feel that your life will be enhanced by having a super shredded six-pack? And mind you, I'm not saying that you should not pursue such goal. I'm saying that from going to, say, having a normal physique to go a bodybuilder level physique, there's a lot in the middle. So it's not black or white, there's a huge gray area. There are 50 shades of grays in the middle. So you can reach situations when you do have visible lean abs, but you have your own life. You have the things you enjoy. You can enjoy a drink, you can enjoy a pizza, you can enjoy a dessert without freaking out or panicking. But always have this question in mind. How would I feel, or what would I gain when I reach that goal? What would I gain when I lose that extra 1 kilo? What would I gain when I go down this extra 2% body fat percentage? Will my life be substantially better? How? And also, will I be able to sustain this in the long term without going insane? And I know, again, that this sounds very extreme, but I also would like you to understand that, there's a lot of things to consider about your body and about your mental health that go with nutrition and the a little bit distorted body image the social media are pushing now. So take those things into consideration, weigh them carefully, and see what you want to do. How far are you willing to go to reach that low percentage of body fat, or to reach the very low body weight for you? How much will you sacrifice? And that's it. Once you have decided those things, have a plan, stick to the plan, and reach your goal. And that's it for today's episode. Far from wanting to scare you, I just wanted to give you like a whole perspective on the super shredded abs that you see all over the place online. So fear not, you don't need to go that far. You can find much better balance with having a very satisfactory six-pack on your own. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know what you're gonna do on my Instagram channel at thecarl.fit.